So uh, there's an exercise that I've talked about a couple times, which is essentially allowing yourself to feel whatever is coming up for you. And um, and I would recommend, especially if you're new to this or you're experimenting with emotions that people typically consider unpleasant, I would recommend taking a moment to ground yourself and center yourself so that you're not just collapsing into whatever the state is, um, but you're going into it with sort of the resource of being centered and kind of with your eyes open, so to speak. And we've done this in a variety of ways, taking an inventory of the state and really the idea of welcoming and allowing yourself to just feel a little bit of the state, at least in the beginning. Eventually, you can really let yourself feel the nuances of whatever the state is, and very often you may find that you move right through it or the state moves right through you. And I was noticing this uh, yesterday or the day before because there's certain states that I think, when we experience a state that we feel is unpleasant, it's so easy and automatic to move away from it. I think it's very natural to try to move away from something, just like if you touch a hot stove, you move away from that. Um, the the place that I noticed it was I was taking a moment to settle down and have a little quiet time, whether you consider it meditation or journal time. And I'm trying to think what came up. I think there was just this moment of kind of a feeling of, oh no, uh, I'm stopping, and what's happening? I should get busy again. So immediately I was running uh, towards busyness or towards distraction, and that's when it sort of hit me again, or I remembered that especially states like boredom or frustration or just discomfort or sadness, um, it's so easy to immediately think, okay, what should I do next? Like, let me look at something online. Let me get lost in my phone. So I was really glad that I caught it. So I decided to just be present to whatever the storm was. And in this case, it was a series of kind of rapid fire different emotions. Um, but then you can take them one at a time. Like boredom is one that people will do seemingly anything to get away from. And it's really interesting to just pause and get curious about boredom or get curious about frustration. And just, it's almost like trying a food, just taking a little bit at a time and just, okay, how do I experience boredom? Where do I experience it in my body? What does it feel like? And with any of these, they're actually very rich experiences, and uh, and they're not something that we have to run away from very often, um, especially with a little practice. And it's such a funny idea to get fascinated with boredom. Um, um, at least I find it amusing. Um, so I think boredom is a really nice one to start with, or frustration. And I was thinking about frustration also, because frustration usually seems to be in response to something that we're not getting, or we're trying something. It could be something physical. You're trying to open a zipper and it won't open, you get frustrated. Or you're trying to find something and you can't find it, so you get frustrated. But slowing down and really just noticing, okay, what does that feel like in my body? How does my posture show up? Is there anything I'm saying to myself? Is there a story there? Is there anything I'm picturing? And really allowing yourself to experience it on your own terms and to slow it down and take it at your own pace. Even fear, I think fear especially is a great one to get really good at. The idea of, there's a great quote by Pema Chodron where she talks about leaning into your fear instead of leaning away from it. And the first time I read that, it really startled me. I thought that's fantastic. I never thought of like leaning into, and really confronting and diving into fear. Her books are fantastic, by the way, if you haven't read any Pema Chodron. I think the book I'm thinking of is called When Things Fall Apart, which is a wonderful title. So I definitely recommend this type of meditation or experience, and I recommend it, almost on a daily basis. You could take one particular emotion and really explore it for a couple days in a row. And at a certain point, you go, okay, I understand to deal with this emotion, and I understand my responses and the way I bring it up in myself and the things that I tell myself. And at a certain point, you might get bored with boredom or bored with frustration. Um, and you can also ask, is it the same every day? Is it the same every time? The thing that I found really interesting with my experience the other day was, as soon as I caught myself, I thought, okay, let me just spend a moment with this feeling of boredom. And my visceral reaction was, this is going to last forever, right? And in reality, it lasted for just a few moments. And to revisit it, it was almost like I had to keep looping it to bring it up again and again, to the point where I could finally just sit with it for a while and just be in the experience of boredom or whatever emotion you're experiencing. So I encourage you to take some time and enjoy playing with that. And I've mentioned this before, at a certain point, uh, at least in my experience, these emotions don't spook me anymore in the way that they used to. It used to be, oh my God, if I allow myself to go into this emotion, I'll never get out. And what I found is that isn't the case. Like, you can take it on. You can let it pass through you. So I hope you enjoy that. Until next time.